Thurs.
As they say in PIHL hockey, let's do that PIHL hockey. Matt Popchock here from the Mount Lebanon Ice Center, 20 minutes south of downtown Pittsburgh on a chilly night in western Pennsylvania. And now that our tech has effectively thawed out, we can bring you PIHL Class 3A hockey between the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils and Peters Township Indians. We apologize for the preceding technical difficulties, but if it's any small consolation, you've missed nothing, as nothing is across for either side with 11 and a half to go in period one here in Mount Lebanon. Peters Township attacking right to left on your TV, computer, or mobile device, as Sam Shin is the netminder tonight for the Blue Devils. Anthony Herman, the former Baldwin product, gets yet another start in goal for the Peters Township Indians. You see him down to the right. Herman coming off a 37-save effort despite taking the loss to Seneca Valley on Tuesday night. Peters Township just saw their three-game win streak snapped. Mount Lebanon with points in 3 of their last 4, but they've lost 3 in a row overall and trying to climb out of the Class 3A cellar, as the Indians on Tuesday missed an opportunity to gain ground on the state champs from Seneca Valley. They remain in second place with a 7-3 0-1 mark. Bring this puck through center for the Blue Devils. Zach Lynham, the senior defenseman, tied up on the half wall by Carter Maneely, the sophomore. Played back to center by Nick Caputo. Eric Schleiper, defensively for Peters Township. He's chased and flagged down by Sean Huff. Huff with 3 goals in his first varsity campaign. Scored in his debut game in this building against Class 3A co-tenant South Fayette. Indians working around out front. It's loose in front of goaltender Shin, and he plays that one aside. It was Shin's backup, Gus Zentner, who played in the last meeting between these clubs. A 3-1 Peters Township victory at Prince Cape Arena on the 25th of November. His counterpart, Herman, made 22 saves in that particular victory for Peters Township. Played inside the line by Huff to Ben Kurta. Kurta with a 3-game point streak since his return to the Mount Lebanon varsity lineup on November 3rd. And that's a big story for both these teams. Both teams getting players back recently, whether it was from other hockey commitments or other fall sports commitments. Brady Holleran coming back to the lineup, among others, for Peters Township not long ago. And so both these teams are trying to reap the benefits of key additions, or re-additions, as it were, to their respective clubs. Kubastek retreating for Peters Township, pressured by Will White. White with multiple points in 3 of his last 4 for the Blue Devils. Peters plays it up to center. Kubastek over the line. Kubastek trying to play it inside the circle. He's stood up neatly by Sam Eberhardt. And the alternate captain sends Mount Lebanon captain Xavier Bias the other direction. Bias, the Shaha Panthers standout and PIHL All-Star, didn't play the last meeting between these clubs. Just saw his 4-game goal streak snapped in Monday's tough OT loss to Fox Chapel. 6 goals, 9 points on the year thus far for the Mount Lebanon captain, as this puck was about to be played with a high stick, but the Blue Devils behind the net negate the call before the Indians regain possession. Cam Caruso over the line, exchanging with Holler, and that shot kicked aside by Shin. Josh Lehman, in his senior season with the Blue Devils, coming off a junior hockey tour of duty with the Tri-State Spartans travel team based in Indianapolis. Up to center, Cole Newpaver. Newpaver, one of those Peters Township returnees, just recently rejoining the team that we hinted at a couple of moments ago. That shot from the boards goes wide of goaltender Shin. Newpaver played tight end on the Whippeal Championship football team for Peters Township before returning to the hockey club. And congratulations to the Indians on their second crown of the decade, by the way. Angelo Maeda, the junior defenseman, up to center. Jake Lawadi, the Indians' leading scorer, fires his puck off a Mount Lebanon body. Nathan Tran, the alternate captain, taking one for the team as this puck is iced by Lebo, and we get a look at goaltender Sam Shin. 2-4-1, 354 goals against, 870 save percentage, and just over 400 minutes of action. Another Shaha Panthers product, like Bias. Shin, a hybrid-style goaltender, very reflexive, very athletic. And we've seen him put up some big numbers just in terms of volume of saves in a number of his previous appearances. Under 6.5 to go in a scoreless first period here in Mount Lebanon. Matt Popchock with you for this standalone edition of PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by Opeka Auto Repair. Tommy Dowden firing wide of goal from distance. Indians grab the rebound. Lawadi up top to Zach Manili. His shot is smothered and held by Shin. Shots even at 4 apiece. And how do you watch PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV? Well, right now you can watch on Watch. Yep, you heard that right. Log on to watch.tenband.tv and watch multiple live games and on-demand replays all at once. Again, that's watch.tenband.tv to watch your favorite PIHL team the way the hockey gods intended. Shin has to cover once again. Peters Township tilting the ice a bit, but trying to find an answer still for the Mount Lebanon sophomore. Carter Manili knocked to the ice off the faceoff. Cooper Church, son of Mount Lebanon head coach Jeremy Church, plays it around the boards. Church in his 5th full season behind the Mount Lebanon varsity bench after leading the program to its most recent Penguins Cup final appearance as an interim head coach in 2021. Peters Township coached for the 2nd straight season by Chris Claxon, a longtime assistant to the recently retired Rick Tingle. Caputo in front, and he puts that puck just wide in front of Sam Shin. Caruso with a keep. Caruso around Tran. Triple teamed along the near boards, and the Blue Devils exhaust the area. They'll go for a change in the final 5 minutes of the first. Kubistek with an unforced error. That allows Tran to play it up to Kurta. Kurta a little too strong for Huff. No icing. Well, we stand corrected. Scrates and Travado, tonight's USA Hockey crew, beg to differ with Media Row, so we'll drop it in the Mount Lebanon zone once again. Blue Devils with 7 points coming into Thursday night. Peters Township 22 points. Again, a couple of games at least behind state champion Seneca Valley for that top spot as the holiday break draws nigh. Huff behind the goal, played in front, loose, and they score! Ben Curtis smells like teen spirit, and the Blue Devils take a 1-0 lead. Curtis scoops up the loose puck and puts it through the 5-hole. Mount Lebanon striking first with 4.5 to go in the period. Make it a 4-game point streak for the senior. And he's got 3 goals now since returning to the Mount Lebanon lineup full time. Mount Lebanon on Monday scored 3 times in the first period in a span of 5:15 before losing that lead, ultimately to the Foxes. Bias's shot off Manili, pardon me. Bias trying to play it out in front and pinball it off one of the Peters Township defenders. Couldn't get the bounce. And over the line for the Indians comes Dowden. Dowden taken off the puck by Charlie Bank and company. Lebo, for all their first half woes, they've been a strong first period team. 16 first period goals now, counting that tally by Curta. Second most of the 11 teams in Class 3A. They've just had trouble putting together that full 60-minute effort that coaches always look for. And to do that tonight to a longtime geographic rival would be a shot in the arm for a team that really could use one as they near the break. Dowden, in a delayed offside situation, gets rid of that puck. Kyle Quigley plays it up to Lehman. Will Varhola inside the Peters Township line. Varhola with the dump in, the full length this time. Delayed offside against the Blue Devils. Peters unable to advance that puck much further, however. Powers on the counterattack, forcing the save by Herman. Anthony Herman coming into his own with this Peters Township program. 6-2-1, 232 goals against entering Thursday. .916 save percentage, both ranking third among AAA netminders coming into Thursday's action. Had a .925 save percentage in the PIHL Charities Tournament, in which the Indians were finalists. Peters sends his puck behind the Mount Lebanon goal. Hard hit in the corner by Cam Mayer on one of the Indians. Caruso unable to play this puck, and it comes up to Curta. Curta up the right wing with space. Curta has Huff going to the goal, forces the save by Herman. Caruso up to center. Mount Lebanon with a dump in. Blue Devils go for the change. Final 2 minutes of first period play. Mount Lebanon jumping on top of Peters Township, 1-0 at home on Ben Curta's third goal of the season. Bias scoops this puck up inside the offensive zone, deflected toward goal, and Bank was unable to finish that friendly bounce. Newpaver stood up behind his own net by White. Blue Devils take over. Newpaver retaliates against Bias. Kubistek in his own corner takes the hit but makes the play. Maeda tried to play it up to center. Kovac, the Peters Township captain, taking matters into his own hands. Kovac in his senior season with the program, younger brother of former state champion and all-star Ben Kovac, an integral part of back-to-back Penguins Cup teams. Loose puck in front of Shin. Indians couldn't ram it home, and Kovac had a grade A chance to do so with Shin down and out. Maeda from distance. That's kicked out of there by Sam Shin. Kovac trying to fire at those green Shaha Panther goalie pads. And it's deflected out of play. This game, one of only 2 Class 3A games on the Thursday night schedule in the PIHL. Tran and the Blue Devils with a clean face-off win in their own end. Zach Manili retreating with half a minute to play in the period. He sends it in on Shin. Pierce Canarardi defensively for Lebo. Mayer lets it go to Curta. Curta flips it to the corner. Indians with under 10 to go in the period. They've got to hurry and won't be able to. Blue Devils generating traffic in the neutral zone, and they'll be able to kill the rest of this period with a 1-0 lead over the Peters Township Indians. I'm Matt Popchock, and you're watching PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by Opeka Auto Repair.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Opeka Auto Repair in McMurray is what we hockey people call a seasoned veteran. Not only are they a proud supporter of Peters Township hockey on TenbandTV, but they've had the tools and the talent to get your car back into game shape since 1951. Trust the iCar trained technicians at Opeka Auto Repair in McMurray for your collision and mechanical repair needs and for the primary assist on your insurance claims. Call 724-941-6608 or visit opekaauto.com for a quick estimate. Matt Popchock here at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center for PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by our friends at Opeka Auto Repair. First period shots on goal, Peters Township Indians 11, Mount Lebanon Blue Devils 8, where it counts. Lebo is ahead 1-0 on the strength of Ben Curta's third goal of the season. Officially, Curta from Mayer and Huff. With 4.5 to go in period one, the side switch has occurred. On to period two, as the Indians look to get back to their winning ways after Tuesday's close loss to Seneca Valley. Mount Lebanon, we told you about their result on Monday here at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center. They had a lead late, but lost it late, and ultimately lost in sudden victory OT to Fox Chapel, a Class 3A newcomer this season, after many years spent in the lower classifications of PIHL varsity. Fox Chapel coming into this week, the team just ahead of the Blue Devils in the Class 3A standings. White hit from behind by Newpaver. Lebo gets it up to center. Bias chases deep into Peters Township territory, out in front, and play just wide of the side of the net. That was White trying to elevate that puck under the bar, but it eluded the net and it eluded Herman. LaMagna for Newpaver. Conrarty, after some activity in the neutral zone, gets it up to center for Bias. Bias's quick pass a little too strong for White. Shea LaMagna, the sophomore, plays that puck up to center. LaMagna, second on the team in points with 15, 7 goals on his sophomore campaign. Chris Claxon wants to change on the fly early in period two as his defenseman Maeda plays this puck for the Indians. That outlet pass too heavy for Dowden. Conrarty from his own corner, kept inside the zone by Lawadi. Lawadi unable to get around Pierce Conrarty. Mount Lebanon 3 men strong. Conrarty with a dump in right into Anthony Herman's glove, and Herman will play it conservatively. The Indians need a big second here, down by a goal on the road. Seneca Valley scoring the only goal of that Tuesday night game in the second period vis-a-vis Leighton Moreau. Indians were outshot 20-3 in that second period, and Anthony Herman had to really stand on his head to keep it to just the one goal before Moreau added an ENG. Lynham sends it deep for Mount Lebanon. Schleiper reverses to play to Manili. Blake Avancic with it. Avancic with a toe drag. Couldn't get around Lynham, and pushing it wide is Dowden. Luati behind the Lebo net. Out in front, this puck is loose and swiped aside by Curda. Curda might have saved a goal there as Lebo skates up to center. Lynham lost that puck to Avancic. Indians on the counterattack. Avancic tees it up and fires wide over top of Shin, and the puck lands on top of the Mount Lebanon goal for a stoppage in play. The muckers and grinders out here for head coach Chris Claxon. Trying to give the Indians some energy physically, if not otherwise. Liam Powers with a dump in for Mount Lebanon. Turnaround shot. Stopped by Herman. Rebound collected by Carter Schaub. The freshman plays it up ahead a little too far for Barrett. Conrarty from behind his own goal. And this puck is into the visitors' bench for a face-off in Mount Lebanon ice. Barrett tied up in the circle. Indians have it. Caruso from the point. Off the body of Lehman. Indians have it in front. Turnaround try. Oh, what a save there by Shin. He stopped Schaub point blank to keep it a one-goal affair. Varhola unable to clear. From center, Caruso. Varhola around the boards for Kyle Quigley. Indians trying to clog the neutral zone as Kubastek now has this puck for Peters. Up to center for Schaub. Schaub couldn't take the outlet pass. Varhola uses the glass to his advantage to feed Bias. Bias for Bank. Bank to the goal. Unable to slide it around Herman. He was just barely unable to tuck it around that right leg pad of the Peters netminder. And the Indians' defense definitely had something to do with that as the Blue Devils play this puck back to center. Bank will get it deep. White will give chase. Caruso, the first man to it for the Indians. Turnover to Mount Lebanon. White with a shot. Herman juggles and freezes it. Indians with a number of absences tonight, just as they ironically get a couple of those key players back in their lineup. Peters Township without the services tonight of junior defenseman and alternate captain Brendan Monco, among others. He's been a fine player on that blue line for Peters this season. From the corner, up to center, it's played a new paver by Schleiper. Cole Newpaver to Eric Schleiper. Up to center for Holleran. Holleran has a trailer in LaMagna. Holleran very well covered as he sends it to the corner for Newpaver. Newpaver double teamed immediately. LaMagna tries to get to the loose puck, but the Blue Devils work it up to center red. LaMagna up the left wing. LaMagna back to Holleran. Holleran toward goal, saved by Shin. The rebound is buried! Shea LaMagna nuzzles that nylon. The Indians tie it at 1, and why don't you make yourself a dang quesadilla? Shea LaMagna, goal number 8 to lead Peters Township this season. And Shin had no idea where that loose puck was. So after the rough second period on Tuesday, Peters Township does give their visiting fans a big pushback here on Thursday, and we've got a new hockey game with under 11 minutes till the ice cut. Officially, it's going to be LaMagna from Holleran and Newpaver. Holleran had a goal and an assist in the win over Mount Lebanon in his return game in that win on the 25th of November. And he's got another helper against the Blue Devils here. Lawadi over the line. Burial! Jake Lawadi from distance gives Peters Township a 2-1 lead. And these pretzels are making me thirsty. Lawadi unofficially entering the top 5 in AAA scoring with his 7th goal of the season. And Peters Township turns this game on its ear with a couple of goals in rapid succession. Officially 2 goals in 39 seconds by the visitors. And it's going to be an unassisted goal for Lawadi. He had the game winner against Mount Lebanon last time out. A multi-point effort, in fact, by Lawadi in that contest. Mount Lebanon now needing an answer. Varhola from left point. To the corner, it's Kubastek. Lynham unable to keep it inside the line. And here is Lawadi. He's got Ivancic with him. Lawadi just missing upstairs. Mount Lebanon plays this puck deep into Peters Township territory with 9:20 to the ice cut. The home team changing on the fly as Dowden comes up to center. Avoids the stick of Mayer, gives him a little extra what for as Lynham plays it defensively. Lawadi trying to go back to Kubastek. Kubastek has to scramble back now as Kurta was forcing the issue. Ivancic around Varhola. Lynham from his own zone over everyone's head. Kubastek flags it down. Delayed offside situation for Peters Township. Negated by the touch-up behind the Mount Lebanon goal as we approach the midpoint of this Class 3A contest with a puck out of play, and the Peters Township Indians now holding a 2-1 lead. Carter Schaub redirects that puck into Mount Lebanon territory. Eberhardt to his defensive partner, Conrarty. Eberhardt plays it beyond the reach of Mayer. Mayer, a veteran of USA Hockey Nationals. He's played in that big event before with his Mount Lebanon Hornets travel team. Senior Kyle Quigley, also a member of that Hornets team that participated in nationals. Indians trying to play it out in front, and Barrett was looking for a redirect, but he was well covered. Kurta takes command. Up ahead for Huff. Those two connected for Mount Lebanon's only goal of the game thus far. Out in front, it's played off the side of the post. A quick little backdoor play there to Will White. And it hits off the iron to the left of Herman and goes well out of play. Banks strong on the faceoff to stand up to Carter Manili. Bias over the line for Lebo. Bias for White. White fumbled that puck as he was trying to tee it up for the shot. Bias with it now. Bias toward goal. Puts it wide of the far post. Indians have the rebound. Lead pass for Kovac. Kovac catches up to the puck. It's played in front. Loose in front of Shin. Caputo unable to settle it down. Carter Manili couldn't get it deep. White from the neutral zone. Tied up by Manili. Maeda to center for Kovac. Kovac accompanied by Holleran. Kovac's shot blocked. Good gap control by Tran. Peters Township, meanwhile, completing a change. White up to center for Nate Tran. Tran to his forehand finds metal, but not mesh. And we've got another face-off coming up in Indians ice. How do you watch PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV? Well, right now you could be watching on Watch. Yes, you heard me correctly. Log on to watch.tenband.tv and watch multiple live PIHL games and on-demand replays at once. Again, that's watch.tenband.tv to watch your favorite PIHL team the way the hockey gods intended. PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented tonight by Opeka Auto Repair. Peters Township with a 2-1 lead over their South Hills brethren, the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils. Just over 6 minutes till the ice cut here at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center. LaMagna hits Conrarty as Conrarty released that puck. From the half wall, that shot pass is deflected by a Peters Township stick and up to LaMagna. New paver from the top of the circle, kicked away by Shin. New paver, one-touch play to LaMagna. LaMagna couldn't get it on goal. Lehman at center, taken out of the play by LaMagna. Conrarty turns it over to Lawadi. Lawadi for Kubastek. Kubastek, that was blocked. Kubastek keeps it in off his ankle for Lawadi. Lawadi with a toe drag toward goal, and it's stopped and smothered by Shin. Well, Vonsick frustrated about something. Lawadi trying to go 5-hole on the Mount Lebanon sophomore, and for a moment there, it looked like he would be able to. Vonsick from the corner, approaching the final 5 minutes of period 2. To center, Nathan Tran. Tran one-on-one with Maeda. Maeda gets the better of that confrontation. Off the glass and out of play in Peters Township territory. Kurta. Tied up by Dowden. And a kick save made there by Herman off balance as Mayer fired that puck toward goal and it hit something on the way toward the Indians' cage. Played out in front, but right to Eric Schleiper. Schleiper around Lynham. Schleiper over the line has Dowden going toward goal. Centering pass broken up by Tran. Luati surveying the play. Up for Maeda. Avancic over the line. Schleiper from the blue line. Directed toward goal. Not sure if Tran got a piece of that or not. Mount Lebanon camping out in front of goaltender Shin. Luati over the attacking line. Has a trailer in Avancic. Avancic in front, and it's put wide by Dowden. That puck sent out in front off Dowden's shoulder to the point for Maeda. Maeda blasts it wide. Farhola beyond the Mount Lebanon line. And who's going to win this puck battle? Ben Barrett will. He gets it deep for Peters Township. Final 3 minutes of second period play. Peters Township, 2 goals in under a minute earlier in the period to take a 2-1 lead. That's off a body. Schaub, the closest man to it. Zach Manili calling for the puck, but instead Schaub goes behind the net to Barrett. Out in front, Brady Rose trying to tee it up. Backhand try is off a sea of sticks. Farhola, I think, was the one who got it to the corner defensively for Mount Lebanon. And White will send it up to Bank. Bank slowed down by Caputo. Correction, that's Cam Caruso back defensively for Peters Township. Manili to center. Schaub trying to go to Manili. Bias strong on this puck to get it beyond his own blue line, forcing the Indians to tag up. Mount Lebanon takes advantage of that fleeting moment to get this puck deep. Blue Devils go for a line change with time ticking away in period 2. Lehman to the corner. Eberhardt with a dump in for Mount Lebanon. Lehman in the corner now. He's hit hard by Manili. Caruso emerges from that little melee and has it over the Mount Lebanon line. Caruso skating wide, entering the final minute of second period play. To the point it comes. Caruso one more time. That's blocked by Eberhardt. Eberhardt stuck to him like glue. Give him credit. Manili to Holleran. Side of the net. Oh, what a save there by Shin. Batted off the post. Oh, what a play that would have been by Caruso, but it was not to be. Chris Claxon calling for a quick change with half a minute and then some to go in the period. Indians have numbers, and they have the puck. Newpaver trying to break loose. That puck turned over to Bias. Bias 1 against 3. He's hit from behind. Play continues. Conrarty gets there a hair ahead of Newpaver with 10 seconds left. LaMagna off the glass at center. Newpaver stood up by Bank. One more chance maybe for Bias if he can beat the clock, but he can't. He did draw a kneeing penalty, however, right before the second period buzzer. Well, tripping is the official indication, but potato. Kubastek got the worst of that one, running into Bias, and he's in some discomfort with half a second left in the period, and Jeremy Church wants to know why they're letting the clock run out. Church very animated on the Mount Lebanon bench and getting the explanation perhaps they just want to buy some more time for Kubek to be tended to. And Church, I think, is upset that Mount Lebanon didn't get a chance to go for the faceoff in Peters Township ice and pull the goalie for the sixth attacker. But the point is moot now. The teams are off to their locker rooms, and we're going to cut the ice at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center with the Peters Township Indians leading the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils 2-1. Matt Popchock here for PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by Opeka Auto Repair.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh. It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Discover the heart of
Gonna get up, pretty baby. Gonna get out of this rocking chair.
Hewitt creating space. Hewitt turning. Scoring! Marshall Hewitt has won the Penguins Cup championship for the Seneca Valley Raiders with 12:29 to play.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Opeka Auto Repair in McMurray is what we hockey people call a seasoned veteran. Not only are they a proud supporter of Peters Township hockey on TenbandTV, but they've had the tools and the talent to get your car back into game shape since 1951. Trust the iCar trained technicians at Opeka Auto Repair in McMurray for your collision and mechanical repair needs and for the primary assist on your insurance claims. Call 724-941-6608 or visit opekaauto.com for a quick estimate. Matt Popchock back at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center for PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by Opeka Auto Repair in McMurray. Second period shots on goal. Peters Township 9, Mount Lebanon 5. Game totals, Peters Township 20, Mount Lebanon 13. Where it counts, the Indians lead the Blue Devils 2-1 in this Class 3A battle. If there is a silver lining, or so the home team hopes, it's that they get the game's first penny power play when we drop the puck on this freshly cut ice for period 3. Jack Kubistek tripped Xavier Bias. Tried to trick him, but instead he tripped him right before the second period buzzer sounded. Mount Lebanon this year 25% even on the penny power play. Good for 4th out of the 11 teams in 3A. Peters Township second in the 11-team circuit on the penalty kill at 82.1%. Indians were 3 for 3 on the penalty kill the last time these clubs met, and they've got a big kill here coming up to begin period 3. And by the way, before I forget entirely, I'd like to thank Matt Vandriak for filling in on last week's edition of PIHL Hockey Night Live, our Thursday doubleheader at the Ice Castle in Castle Shannon. And Matt may or may not be back with you one more time before we call it quits for the 2025 calendar year, but more on that later, and more on our upcoming game schedule later as the teams get set for the final period of regulation. Mount Lebanon on the man advantage as Tran gives this puck to Bias. Bias up to Kurta. Kurta around the boards to Mayer. Mayer out in front. Lehman was too well shielded, and getting the clear is Schleiper of Peters Township. A deliberate breakout for the Blue Devils on this early third period power play. Bias flying up the left wing. Bias around the stick of Schleiper. Bias to the corner for Mayer. Bias back to Cam Mayer. Mayer atop the circles, wide of Herman. Kurta, the first one to the rebound. He's pressured by LaMagna. LaMagna trying to clear the zone. He can't. Good play there by Mayer, from one knee. Caruso to Bias in the corner. Midway through this penny power play. Tran from center point for Mayer. Mayer near side. It's played around to Tran. Tran through a crowd. Somehow Herman saw that one. And Caruso not standing on ceremony. Gets it the rest of the way for Peters Township. Both coaches, Chris Claxon and Jeremy Church, making changes on special teams with half a minute to go in the tripping minor on Kubastek. And the Blue Devils are guilty of icing. That won't make Church any happier than he was at the end of period 2 when he thought that there should have been one more face-off in Peters Township ice. Officials elected to let the second period clock expire when it was stopped at half a second remaining so that the injured Kubastek could be tended to after the illegal contact on Bias. Caruso interrupts the breakout pass. Face-off coming up at center. White against Carter Manili, and the sophomore controls this one for Peters Township. And that should just about do it for this Mount Lebanon power play. So Peters Township 4 for 4 on the PK in the season series, and they'll protect their 1-goal lead for the time being as Powers tries to catch up to this puck. Maeda plays it up the boards, cut out by Sean Huff. Lynham calling for it at right point. To the corner for Powers. Manili to Holleran. Holleran, cross ice for Lawadi. Lawadi in one fell swoop, firing that puck off of Shin, and it bounces violently off the boards and right into the glove hand of Sam Shin. Holleran completing a tour of duty with CompuWare AAA, a travel team based in Plymouth, Michigan, which, by the way, is where the U.S. National Development Program is also based. That shot from the point by Schleiper blocked. Mount Lebanon playing dump and chase. Zach Manaley, the first one to it. Sent back in by the Blue Devils. Lawadi couldn't get around Quigley. Quigley in the corner for Kurta. He's onside. Quigley unable to control that puck in front. Good coverage by Holleran. Indians in transition. Holleran cutting toward the net. Lawadi running out of real estate. Behind the net for Holleran. Quigley for Schleiper. And Schleiper ices this puck for Peters Township in a pinch. Claxon gets a fresh unit out there for this face-off early in period 3. Indians starting the period with that important penalty kill. Peters Township was coming in one of the least penalized teams in Class 3A. Just 80 PIMs on the year, tied for the fewest. Shin making that save at the other end, meanwhile. Mount Lebanon trying to find a way to get back on their collective feet here, down on home ice once again. In what is their last game before the holiday break, believe it or not. Mount Lebanon, after tonight, idle until Monday, January 5th, when they'll visit Franklin Regional at the Palmer Imaging Arena. LaMagna enters the offensive zone, but he's shielded from that puck by Eberhardt. Shin covering for the faceoff. Newpaver trying to protect this puck in the circle. Behind the Mount Lebanon net. Caruso got it deep for a moment, but Curta quickly sends it into Peters Township ice. To the corner goes Mayer. Maeda catches up to him. Indians play it back to center. Caruso. Over 2 lines to Dowden. Dowden chips it in behind the Mount Lebanon goal. 5 minutes into period 3. Indians hanging on to that 2-1 lead. Curta over the line for Lebo. He elevates this puck just over the bar. Huff to the rebound. Bumped off it by Maeda. Conrarty with the keep in. Conrarty from the circle. Caruso got in the way of that. Huff turning around, and the net behind Anthony Herman dislodged as Herman was trying to go left to right to potentially stop that puck. Peters Township getting back to their familiar ways of being a stubborn team defensively, and Herman, of course, has had a lot to do with that. Just 8 goals allowed in their last 5 games by the Indians, including tonight's action ongoing. Peters Township coming into Thursday night, number 3 overall in Class 3A in team defense. 31 goals against on the season. Face off to Herman's left. Carter Manili sends it around the boards. Conrarty unable to keep it alive. Chance possibly for the Indians. Caputo driving the net. Kovac shooting. A loud save by Shin. This puck is still available and sent to the boards by Conrarty. It won't go in the stat sheet, but an important play there by the Mount Lebanon defenseman to avoid coughing up an easy second chance goal to Peters Township. Kovac tries to play it off the glass, but the Indians are offside. Now we'll be seeing Peters Township again this approaching Monday night when PIHL Hockey Night Live visits the Barrel Toyota Ice Complex. State champion Seneca Valley and 3A rival Pine Richland colliding. The Route 19 rivalry, if you will, resuming on Monday at 7, and the Indians are playing the nightcap against North Allegheny at 9 p.m. on 10 Band TV. NA, one of the teams nipping at the Indians' heels in the top third of the 3A standings coming into Thursday. Lawadi in the corner. Lawadi, pressured by Tran, gets rid of it to Avancic. Avancic out in front, Holleran from one knee, couldn't get it on net. Lynham with a good defensive play. Avancic splits the four checkers. Zach Manili over the line. From an angle, he puts it off the glass, and it almost bounces in front to Bank. But Lynham takes the puck instead for Mount Lebanon. Holleran with a steal. Bias trying to get it up to Tran. It's taken away by Manili. Lawadi dropping for Manili. Manili through a crowd. It deflects off a Peters Township body and off the mask, lo and behold, of Sam Shin. Bias the other way. Bias with a toe drag, but he forgot the puck. Lawadi to center with 9.5 left in regulation. Jeremy Church wants a fresh line out there. Schleiper gains the red line, sends it in. Chris Claxon also changing on the fly. Conrarty around the boards. Huff there for Mount Lebanon. Huff has Curta open, goes there, and the shot is blocked by Maeda. Conrarty to the corner for Curta. Curta pivoting. Just can't shake loose of Maeda. And Maeda will send it off the glass, but not quite out. Newpaver gets it the rest of the way, and he's accompanied by Dowden. Dowden shooting, and saving it is Sam Shin. "20 stops and counting for the Mount Lebanon sophomore. Shin facing the Indians tonight for the first time as a varsity goaltender at Mount Lebanon. Maeda on goal, and Shin makes that save off the face-off. Blue Devils at center. Quigley over the line. That's blocked by Maeda. A miscommunication on the back end by Peters Township, and no harm done. Here's LaMagna. LaMagna unable to get around the last man. The last man was Cooper Church. Newpaver in the corner. Newpaver to the opposite corner now. LaMagna was tied up by Church in front and just now is getting back to his feet. That allows the Blue Devils to play it to center. Stabbed ahead to the stick of Dowden by Caruso. Blue Devils taking away all the space of the offensive zone. Give them credit as they try to battle back here with under 8 to go. Eberhardt to the corner. Eberhardt trying to protect that puck with his skate. Now he's tied up with a free hand of Caruso. Conrarty gets it deep. Maeda almost gave that puck up to Xavier Bias in a very dangerous spot. Instead, Anthony Herman will cover for a faceoff. Mount Lebanon wins the draw. Out in front, Bias very well covered. Schleiper and Carter Manili double teaming to make that play. Manili over the attacking line. Loose in front, played aside. Good stick there by Lynham. Zach Manili on the back end, to his defensive partner Schleiper. Settled down legally by Kovac. Caputo puts a shoulder into one of the Blue Devils. Carter Manili reversing the play for Caputo. Caputo from the circle. Kovac battling for this puck. And he's surrounded by yellow shirts as Caputo has it now for Peters Township. White over the attacking line. I'll take that, thank you very much, says Anthony Herman. Herman, one of 11 juniors on this Peters Township team. And he watches his Peters Township teammates control this own zone face-off. Caruso got it as far as the stick of Eberhardt. Eberhardt sends it back in for Lebo. Maeda to his forehand now for Holleran. Holleran skating wide, pulls up, fires, and that misses the net. Lawadi around the boards for Holleran. Lawadi in the corner now. Good stick by Kurta on the back check. Eberhardt to the corner for Conrarty. Kurta. That puck hits something on its way into Peters Township territory, so it will not be icing with 5.5 to go in regulation. Peters Township still with the 2-1 advantage. Caruso deep in his own zone. Caruso through center. Caruso skating wide, drops it for Holleran. Caruso behind the net to Lawadi. Backing up the play is Schleiper. Schleiper through a crowd under the glove of Shin. Lynham has the rebound. Kyle Quigley to center. Schleiper behind his own net, knocked down from behind. Play continues. Lawadi, who has a go-ahead goal for Peters Township. Couldn't get around the defenseman. And that was Lehman. Bias is the trailer. Bias with a toe drag, shooting off the post. Oh, Mount Lebanon by inches, missing the equalizer. Lawadi off the skate of Conrarty. That one misses everything and everybody and bounces right to Xavier Bias. Lehman just barely gets back on side in time. Bias off balance, caught the stick of Herman, and that might have caught the post as well to Herman's right. Oh, Bias is snake bit on this shift for the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils as Herman makes that save with the goaltender's stick. "61 points in 48 career varsity games for the Mount Lebanon captain, and oh so close to 62. Indians win a face-off, and every one of those becomes that much more important now with time becoming the enemy of Mount Lebanon. LaMagna able to get this puck deep for the Indians. Lebo gets it right back to center red. Maeda camped out at the red line. Sends it deep into Mount Lebanon ice. Bias over the line for the Blue Devils. Bias sends this puck wide. LaMagna, first one to it. And Lynham gets it up to Tran. Tran gets it the rest of the way for the Blue Devils. And we have a penalty called behind the play, and it's going to go against Peters Township, I believe. Cole Newpaver will feel shame for 2 minutes and then get free. Roughing the call on the Peters Township senior, and a second penny power play awarded to the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils, who trail by a goal. And Peters Township, Chris Claxon, their head coach, using his timeout, We'll step aside briefly with the Indians leading Mount Lebanon 2-1. 3:06 remaining, third period. Matt Popchock here to bring it to you the rest of the way. PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Discover the heart.
How do you watch PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV? Well, right now you could be watching on Watch. Yes, you heard that right. Log on to watch.tenband.tv and watch multiple live games and on-demand replays all at once. Again, watch.tenband.tv to watch your PIHL team the way the hockey gods intended. Out of the Peters Township timeout, it's Mount Lebanon to the penny power play in a one-goal game. Under 3 minutes remaining in period 3. Bias in the corner to Mayer. Tran with his puck. Kurta, his shot blocked by Maeda. Maeda unable to clear beyond Tran. Mayer to the corner for Bias. Screen in front. That hit the man in front. Lehman. Tran from the high slot for Kurta. Kurta off a stick and right to Carter Manili. Right place, right time. And he exhausts the area for Peters Township. Indians quickly changing penalty killers with a minute 10 to go in the minor on Newpaver for roughing. A steal by Caruso, and he gets another clear for the Indians. Tran, the 2025 All-Star, up for Kurta. Cross ice, Bias over the line. Bias from the slot area. That pings off the skate of Caruso. Tran fans on the attempted pass. Here comes LaMagna with Holleran shorthanded. Holleran skating wide. LaMagna score! You want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts! Shea LaMagna with a shorthanded tip-in goal to make it 3-1 Peters Township with 1:43 remaining, and that is a likely backbreaker for the Blue Devils. Holleran with a couple of assists tonight continues to haunt Mount Lebanon. And now Jeremy Church will take his timeout. We'll see what he draws up when we get back. Matt Popchock here with Peters Township leading the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils 3-1 on TenbandTV. And as we get set to resume play, we continue to marvel at the eye-hand coordination of one Shea LaMagna, the Peters Township sophomore, a moment ago collecting his 9th of the year and 2nd of the night. His 2nd special teams goal of the season, for that matter. And that may have iced it for the Peters Township Indians, who look to sweep the season series now with a minute and a half to play. 25 to go on the penny power play for Mount Lebanon. Sam Shin skating toward the Mount Lebanon bench as Herman snatches that one off the ice. And officially it is LaMagna from Holleran. Holleran with the only assist. Mount Lebanon with a shorthanded goal in the last meeting between these clubs. Now Peters Township returns the favor in a big, big way. Indians about to go 2 for 2 on the PK, and they lead by 2 as we approach the final minute of regulation here at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center. Bias stood up by Schleiper. LaMagna missing the Hattie by inches. The net to our left now vacant. Blue Devils will skate 6-on-5 with the penalty boxes empty. Icing on Caruso and the Peters Township Indians. 47 ticks to talk. Blue Devils mathematically still with hope, but not with much time. Shin will remain on the home bench. Lehman will take the face-off for Lebo against Newpaver. And they're going to waive both Newpaver and Lehman, oddly enough. Now it's Avancic against Bank. And Avancic plays it to the corner for Peters Township. Kept in by Conradi. Conradi fires upstairs and off the glass. Tran hustling to get to that puck. Holleran got there first. It's steered toward the Peters Township goal, and again, it's gloved by Anthony Herman. Conradi with the keep in. Floated toward goal off a shoulder. Oh, what a save there by Herman. Point blank, he denies bias as Peters Township will take their chances with another face-off in their own zone. Curda loses this one to Newpaver. Newpaver can't get it out of there. Tran firing upstairs. That glanced off Herman's glove, I think. And the Blue Devils just are going to run out of time here. Maeda gets it the rest of the way. 3 seconds left. That's it. Fort Pitt. The Indians, with identical 3-1 victories, sweep the season series from the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils. Peters Township in enemy territory, collecting victory 8 on the regular season from their South Hills rivals. Indians now with 25 points to close the gap between themselves and first place Seneca Valley. Mount Lebanon remains on 7 points at the bottom of the Class 3A standings. Thank you, Todd Kazarowski, Dustin Beck, Ethan Stewart. Thank you, Austin McLean, and thank you for watching and listening. I'm Matt Popchock, and that's all she wrote from the Mount Lebanon Ice Center, where the Peters Township Indians once again take it from the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils by a final score of 3-1. We'll see you Monday night in Warrendale for Seneca Valley at Pine Richland, followed by Peters Township at North Allegheny. It's all on PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by Opeka Auto Repair.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.